So everyone, this here is the Intel NUC. A NUC is the next unit of computing. It's a device made by Intel. This particular one is the NUC8i5BEK. 8 standing for 8th generation processor support, i5 meaning it's got an i5 processor in it, and BEK presumably is the form factor. This particular one is the one that is not as tall and doesn't include space for a 2.5-inch disk, which can be a SATA disk. This one only can do the M2 SSD. Plenty of ports on it, on-off switch, sound, charging port and regular USB 3 on the back. Power in, HDMI out, Ethernet, two more wonderful USB 3s, a Thunderbolt port on the side, SD card and Kensington lock slot. The box, as you can see here, doesn't contain much more than the unit. It contains some mounting hardware, some instructions, and also includes the power supply. The power supply, as you can see, has the circular type connectors. I call it the Mickey Mouse power supply cable. So you will need to supply one of those if you want to drive it, because it doesn't include the power cord itself. It's just the unit. Right, I have already set this one up, but so you can see inside it. I find it's easiest to open it where the Kensington slot is, otherwise it tends to it's done itself up a little bit. There we go. Inside I've added two laptop style SO DIMMs. These are 4 gig DDR4 memory. In that it's a dual channel. It will take up to 16 gig a slot for a maximum of 32 gig. So this one's got 8 in dual channel. And up here you can see the M2 SSD slot. And this one's populated with a Samsung Evo 500 gig unit. Originally had a 256 unit in there, and it just wasn't big enough for what I wanted to do, so I've doubled it. Those are the only user manageable parts in the whole thing. Single screw for that, no screws required for the memory. Very easy. You can see the SATA header that you would use if you were going to have the version with the SATA drive support. Say this one doesn't have it. This particular machine I've set up dual boots, both Windows and Linux, and we'll have a look at that in a minute. But all round very easy. Nice little machine, well built, almost silent in operation. There is a fan, but it is very quiet. So very cool, and we'll come back in a second, look at it in operation. Okay, so we're back with the NUC. Here you can see it's hooked up to keyboard, mouse, Ethernet. It does have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, HDMI and the power connector. About to turn it on. There we are. These lights come on. Switch the input on the screen to HDMI 2. There it says Intel NUC. You can see it's set to boot Windows or Linux, so it's got a Linux bootloader, it's got Debian 9 on it. Now it's going to boot Windows. It's really weird having a Windows swirly dots in the middle of a Linux boot screen, but there we go. Up it comes. Came up, as you can see, very quickly, and you can get logged in. And here it is coming back up, restoring from a previous session. As you can see, it was very quick to get logged in. The SSD makes it very fast. With the 8 gig, it is okay. We're back. Sorry about that. As you can see, looking at this, runs at 2.3, peaks to 3 point something gigahertz. 8 gig, a little bit stolen for presumably for the video. It's the 655 Iris graphics. This one, say Windows 10, also runs Linux quite happily. I have been using it as my daily driver. Absolutely fine. The audio you heard there was coming over the HDMI, so that works well. And you can see it's on a 34-inch widescreen without any problems whatsoever. The thing is fast, it's quiet. You can mount it on the back of a screen, so you don't have to even have it on your desk. It's wireless and Bluetooth. So all in all, it's a nice little machine. Definitely worth considering when you look at the size of machines that you typically get. And a lot of people have small work areas nowadays, relatively narrow desks. Something like this mounted on the back of a screen. This means there's no machine on the floor, there's no wires on the floor or wires on the desk. They'd be back of the computer. So Intel NUC, this one say is the i5-8i5BEK. Other models are available, and also people like Shuttle and Acer and others do similar sorts of machines. Worth a look at. Any more information, you know how to get hold of us. Thanks a lot. Take care.